trip. You know, I think that we were, I was concerned about fatigue. The guys have never, we practiced yesterday, it was like, all right, water break, and then 10 minutes later, water break. They were like, we get like one water break a year, it seems, right? And we're getting water breaks all the time. We're concerned about it. So I'll have to get more water breaks in the future because we really played well. Number one is an outstanding talent. He's, you know, they played Butler. Butler was, what, a 7-point game with 12 minutes to go. And the young man hit 4 or 5 threes against, or 4 threes against Butler. So it was, I wasn't expecting that. But we caught them at the right time. We really made shots. We got a lot of guys who can make shots from the outside, so it's zone. Sometimes can be a tough defense to play against us, and our kids really played well.
Start off with men right over here.
As I'm sure you know, 2 records tonight, made threes and 3-point attempts. Did you kind of tell your players that, did you know that this was going to be a game where they're going to shoot a lot of threes?
No, you know what, we never say that. We never talk about, you know, what type of shots we're going to take. We're going to take the shots the defense gives us. But you're not going to get open if you didn't make some penetration at time. I thought the ball in the first minutes, and we were still scoring a little bit, the ball was sticking. It was just sticking. Everybody stop and let them rematch up. It's a true matchup zone. They'll go with every cutter. And so the ball just needed to move, it needed to move, it needed to move. And when we moved it better in the second half and at the end of the first half, it made a big difference. But no, we didn't come in. If you when I saw the 45 threes there, I said, man, I didn't think we shot that many. But we made a lot too.
Brendan?
Obviously, the score got out of hand there, but especially early on, did they show you anything in terms of responding to what was a hard deal on Sunday?
Yeah, I was really proud of them. I mean, first of all, we had a really good practice yesterday, and we shot the ball like that again yesterday. So I think we're at a confidence level with that a little bit SMU Marquette-like. You know, that our confidence was back to make shots, to see each other, to trust each other. And then I said, okay, you're always waiting for, you hear these horror stories about the west to east trip. But I think the fact that we spent the night was a good idea in retrospect now. We didn't do it all-nighter. At West Virginia, we had a game, we won at UCLA and lost to Marshall. And the next day, and Marshall did not have a good team that year. And it haunted me the last couple of days. So we ended up getting this one.
Brandon?
Hey, Coach. Looked like sort of, in all the, 3-point going on. In the first half, you guys were maybe having trouble, finding Mo and going inside, and then all of a sudden in the second half, he gets a bunch of points real quick.
We just threw him the ball. I don't think he was any more open. I think we just looked at him a little bit more. But the way that matchup zone is, they're going to crowd the middle. They're never going to leave the big guy too often. And they come out and they stay with him. They basically played man-to-man with him. It was really hard to get him open. So we just had to force it into him in the second half. Chris?
You had Billy dropping his head every time they scored. It seemed
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah. No, that was the laughing part. Poor Brent Hibbets allowed a basket, and Billy's all over him. I said, we're up by 40 here. The kid doesn't play a lot of defense in practice, because he's always on the scout team. Cut him a break, Bill. Cut him a break. So it was okay.
But it's okay. Good, though, with Bill, right?
No, that's the way he's always going to be. That's a great presence on our team. We were mad that they got over 42%, but the DER was in the 7s, 0.7 somewhere. So that was a good number. We forced some turnovers, and that was good. Like I said, they just played Butler like last week, like really tough. So it was a good showing that we could play like that.
On your right with Noah.
John, you talked a little bit about the travel and being concerned about being lethargic. I mean, is it particularly pleasing, I guess, to see them hold 36% in the first half just defensively?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Mark, we're in exams too. We had 3 papers due today. Mark Donnell had an accounting test at 8:30 this morning. So there's a lot of stuff going on before this, with a 9 o'clock start too, right? And so it was a lot of stuff going on. I saw some resiliency here, that when you have really good kids, I think you can bounce back better than when you have kids with agendas. And there's great kids. They're too nice. We all know that sometimes. But I think we can coach that up a little bit more than have kids with bad attitudes, poor attitudes.
Zach?
I know you go game by game and focusing on each day, but have you had a conversation with an ex and Ivy, knowing that Big Ten play is looming, on how they need to finish this month and get themselves ready to
we weren't concerned about their fatigue today, but they practiced hard for an hour today. They watched video, they were with me with what I call quarterback club for 20 minutes today. Then we had an hour walkthrough and more video. So our whole idea is Big Ten play, man, you have to be ready. And you can just see they're growing. X had a couple of really good passes that he might have left his feet and charged a month ago. That he's lost some confidence because he's had to take steps backwards. It's like a great hitter that all of a sudden sees balls. You got to rework his swing a little bit. There's some things he's reworking and what he sees in the game, and we're seeing some carryover. It'd be the same thing. I don't care how that 3 went in. He can shoot much better than he has, but it went in. So now he's got that 1 to his credit right now, and hopefully he'll grow from it because we do need that to come off the bench. But both of them defensively, there's still a lot of work, and that's like with every freshman in the country. Only way it changes is if the guy has such a veteran team around him that really is good at defense, and they make up for all his mistakes. We're not that good defensively to do that.
Brendan?
On that note, even if a game doesn't get to 40 points or whatever it was tonight, do you want them to get more sustained minutes in, coming into tonight and the next two?
I hope so. I hope so. They earned a little bit of that today. I actually wanted Xavier, and I don't know how it happened. I wanted to guard number 1 there for a few minutes just so he could learn. That kid is really can score the ball. So I would like to get more. I'd like to get them in these next 2 games more, but we're not going to do it to sacrifice the win. If they're getting beat out there defensively or they're taking us out of a flow, all right, we keep practicing. And they will have, during this time, we'll be practicing with them. I think both of them are very limited, as many freshmen are in exams, maybe 1 or 2, and I think they're done early. We'll be using every moment we can. I mean, virtually every NCAA moment, which almost can be 4 hours a week right now because we have some off days. But we'll be using 20 hours a week with both those guys in these next 2 weeks. And then when we come back, we got a similar situation. But that's a major focus for us. You're right on.
Because you've had shortened benches
Yep.
in previous years, but as a result of injuries.
Yep.
Can you just speak to how difficult it is when you have basically if you have a 7-man rotation in
Well,
league play?
the foul trouble is the biggest thing you worry about. That all of a sudden, what happens if they're just in the middle of action, he gets run into and it's a tough call, or something happens, right? And all of a sudden you got to go 10 minutes. That's my biggest concern. I'm not spooked by injuries right now, but I'm spooked by what happens when somebody's having a bad game or has the flu or something like that. We have to have that 8, 9 guy that can go in there and still give us good minutes.